Hey guys, welcome to Braun's Painting Network. If you stumbled on this video, I assume you must be doing research on your own interior painting project, and you landed in a good spot, because with our Paint Trainer series, we do tutorials and in-depth discussions on all things related to residential interior painting. And we always put strong, special emphasis on what I refer to as the task pillars, which is setup, job site protection, surface preparation and repair, paint application, and cleanup. When it comes to setting up for a paint project, the biggest thing associated with that is simply gathering all the different types of tools, supplies, and materials you need to execute a proper paint job. This particular video is going to be about showing and demonstrating many of the surface preparation and repair supplies and materials that we utilize in the field. Let's get at it. Alright guys, we're going to take a look at some of the materials and supplies that we use for surface preparation and repair. We have a whole table of goodies here. Let's take a closer look. Oh, and by the way, if you're watching this video, it's probably because you're researching the possibility of doing your own preparation and repair work prior to a painting job. And if that's the case, quick reminder, if you live in a home built prior to 1978, please consider the possibility of whether or not you may be disturbing old lead-based paint during the course of your activities. Essentially, if you are going to be creating dust, plumes, or paint chips, or doing a lot of abrasive work like scraping or sanding that could create plumes of dust, you want to consider the possibility of potential for lead disruption. The older the home prior to 1978, the more likely that that could be an issue for you, and you want to look into that before you handle your own project. So we're not going to get into all of those details and protocols on a video like this, but if you'd like to learn more, please go to the EPA.gov website. I will put it on the screen here, and make sure that you understand what you're getting yourself into if you are conducting your own preparation and repair work. So here are the two different types of joint compounds that we commonly use. These are USG products. We have the all-purpose joint compound, and then plus 3 lightweight joint compound. As painters, we have so many different elements of the project that we have to keep track of. We are not just sheetrock finishers. We are not only doing repair work. So I really like to work with the ready mix, factory mix joint compounds rather than mixing our own joint compound from the powders or the setting type compounds. We will use those when it's required and when necessary from a timing aspect, but the more that we can use these ready mix joint compounds, the easier it is for a painting project. And it's also a lot easier on the cleanup when we don't have to mix our own powders. There's less to clean up after as well. The one thing I will say about these joint compounds is that they do require overnight dry in between coats. When you look at the directions and it talks about dry time right there, and you can see right there, you know, allow approximately 24 hours between coats. And it's the same thing on the plus 3. They want 24 hours. Now, where's the dry time? Same thing here on the plus 3. They want 24 hours dry time. And a lot of times that's perfect. That's fine when it comes to painting projects, because there's so many other tasks that need to be done that you can do your repair work, move on to other things, and give it that overnight dry. Now, if we have very minor, small repairs in between coats and things like that, we will definitely push it for very small repairs. Using these joint compounds, they will definitely dry to touch, sometimes in as little as an hour or a couple of hours. And so when we only have very minor things, we will definitely, you know, when they're dry, we'll definitely sand them and go ahead and paint them quicker than a 24-hour turnaround. But for very large repairs and substantial cracks and holes, we want to allow that to dry overnight. So the benefit of using the powder joint compounds is that they can be painted very quickly. Some of them might dry in 45 minutes, 90 minutes. There's all kinds of different rated setting type compounds from the powders. And if you really need to turn around a major repair job in a quicker fashion or in the same day, you definitely want to use the setting type compounds. Here we have the Texelite sand paint. We always carry this on our residential painting jobs. Here in the Northeast, it's very common to have sand painted ceilings, and there is often damage and nail pops and cracks that need to be repaired. And after we repair them, we want to utilize this Texelite sand paint to reapply over the sanded repair so that we can blend in the texture and it all looks uniform. We have a couple different types of caulks here, and this is what we will use to caulk any gaps in the intersection between the walls and trim, within trim casings, door casings, window casings. And you'll see some of that when we get into the preparation and repair process. We have some spackle. This happens to be a UGL product, 222 or deuce 222, however you want to refer to it. This is a lightweight spackling, good for filling very small nail holes in walls and trim. Whereas the joint compound, we're going to be using that for patching bigger holes, dents, and cracks. We brought with us a couple different primers. This is Kills Original, which is an oil-based primer that's great for being a stain blocker. You can see it blocks severe stains and tannin bleed. Also provides a mildew-resistant finish, seals porous surfaces. This shellac-based primer from Zinsser does the same thing. This one is branded All Prime, but it's a Zinsser product. The more well-known one is referred to as Zinsser Bin, B-I-N, and that is also a shellac-based stain blocking primer that will really seal out really difficult stains like tannin bleeding or water stains, smoke, things of that nature. Both these primers work really good for that. Here are some different repair tapes that we utilize when we're fixing cracks or other major damage. Our most commonly used repair tape is Fibofuse, which is a fiberglass flat tape. Works really well. You are able to set this with the Ready Mix all-purpose setting compound, but it is not self-stick. So you do have to put down the all-purpose joint compound first, lay this down, and then skim over the top of it, set it, and then finish it off with additional skim coats. But this is really durable, high-quality stuff. In my opinion, the best stuff on the market for fixing cracks. We will utilize the self-adhesive mesh tape. Right here we have this Fiba tape. And this is really what's great about it is that it's self-stick and it will adhere down, so you don't need to bed it down into joint compound. You would just lay it down self-stick and then skim over the top of it. The downside is you cannot use the Ready Mix joint compounds. You have to set this with the powder, the quick set, setting type compounds where you mix from powder with water, and they are designed to dry a lot quicker, anywhere from 20 minute up to 90 minute. And that's what they require. If you read the fine print on this, they'll make note of that you want to utilize the quick set. So if you have a job where you really need to turn around a quick job, this stuff works great for utilizing over cracks or even finishing new sheetrock like you show there. As long as you're going to use quick set, quick dry, then this product can be really efficient and really effective to use. And then there's just a regular old paper tape, which we will use this typically on corners where there are some cracks or peeling tape from the original project and it's not a huge major gap. We'll utilize the paper tape in our repairs for that. When we have more substantial gaps, we've really gotten to like using this Fast Edge product from Trimtex. You can see it's a very wide vinyl reinforced type of tape. We have a handful of cracks here where we have a little bit of flex and movement in the drywall. So we're going to use these sheetrock screws to anchor that down before we tape and seal them. And then we have our different types of sanding sponges, square sanding sponges. We use these all the time for when we're sanding different types of repairs or just scuff sanding trim and walls. Really love these larger beveled edge sanding blocks. Really allow you to get into different angled surfaces. Great for things like this, like getting into trim and other tight spaces. This bevel is really nice for that. And then we got the flat sponges as well. These are good for sometimes doors or cabinetry when we're trying to, cover a lot of ground really quickly. We like to use these pads for that. When we want to scuff sand an entire wall surface, we love to use the radial sanding heads that we can attach to a painting pole and really cover a lot of ground quickly. So there you have it, guys. There is a tour of the many supplies and materials we use for surface preparation and repair. I hope you found that helpful. You're always going to want to have plenty of joint compound on hand, caulk, painter's putty, repair tapes, primers, sanding sponges, and definitely have a bunch of rags on hand. Happy painting.